I was gonna try and not be tired again, but I guess it's already 11:06
Yeah,
p.m.
it's too late for that.
Okay, but we're back. I think it's recording, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We just finished round two. Except just finished. We finished round two like 4 hours ago.
Oh yeah, a little while ago now.
Maybe
we had dinner. And...
2 or 3 hours ago for me.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. The round got rescheduled.
Yeah, this is the first time it's ever happened.
I've
but
never seen that happen.
all of
in
our
tournaments.
rounds have been pushed 1 hour later.
I mean, at Chicago Open, the round like starts late because they're disorganized. But this round, we found out was rescheduled. So
yeah.
Anyway, we had some interesting games, and hopefully we'll try and be instructive. I'll try and be more awake than yesterday. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but had like a 60-70 move game.
Yeah, we had much tougher games today than yesterday. Well, we can start with my game.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I was playing white here against a player right around 2000, Ambrew, Dan Callan, and so I actually played my favorite F3 line against the King's Indian, and we get this Benoni type structure eventually. Here I felt like white was doing pretty well. I would say this is probably like the critical moment in the game, at least a very interesting one. If you guys want to check out the actual opening moves and you want to get the PGN of the game, I'm just going to plug it every time. You should check out my Patreon page where I'll be annotating all the games from this tournament, my other tournaments, as well as giving some detail on the opening. Okay.
And that'll be in the video description.
Yeah.
Just look for links.
Will be there. Well, so here black had a decision to make because white has pretty serious threat of rook a7. Queen has to move, rook takes g7, king takes, and then f4. Just winning 2 pieces for the rook. So clearly black has to do something about this threat. My opponent and I were both calculating this move knight d3 because it looks very sharp. Bishop is hanging with check. And this turns out to be fine for white, but during the game, I didn't realize, I was just miscounting the pieces. So knight takes c1, this is kind of black's idea. White has to take on f8. And then if he takes on e2 with check, then white is just very happy. Knight takes, and then materials equalized. White will put the knight on d4, queen h6, and black's position is really weak. Strategically, I feel like white is usually better in this kind of position, but that's not always the case. But then during the game, I was trying to figure out what to do after this move, knight b3. Where he hits the queen again and he hits the rook. If I play like queen h6, you would expect would be the move. Then he just takes the rook and my bishop is stuck and I have absolutely nothing. But I realized I could go queen f4. And then I was trying to figure this out during the game because if he takes on a1, I can just take on d6 and then I'm skewering him. If he gives this check, I have bishop c5. And so this looked tremendous for white. But then after, I figured he might
tactics. Play... That's a crazy line.
I figured he might play queen b6 check in this position.
Uh-huh.
So it looks like, because he gets out of the skewer and then take the rook. And then bishop takes d6. And in the game, I thought I would be down a full rook here. So I was just miscounting the pieces. I'm only down an exchange, and so white's just completely winning. Just like
amazing position, yeah.
Dark third bishop. I thought maybe I pick up the knight and I'm okay, right? But so it turns out I can't really go for this, but I thought it was quite an interesting line.
I walked by around this point and I saw none of those lines. I just saw your A file and I thought you were better.
Yeah, slightly better. I got this b4 in.
Right.
So he went with I think a normal move f4, just shutting down the position. Mm-hmm. So I inserted rook a7, queen d8, and knight h2. Basically, my feeling here is that if black gets kind of no play on the king side, then only white can really be better because I just have the a file. I can put a rook on a5 and just hit this b5 pawn. So I feel like strategically white is doing well, but concretely I think the engine here is totally fine with black's position. I don't know. It was an interesting fight. Queen g5, king h1, knight f6. He wants to come to h5 and g3. I played knight g4. Knight h5, king h2, and then he took, which I thought was surprising because I felt like here if he just plays knight g3, I wasn't clear what my next move is going to be. I I don't really
But
want to take on
you're
e5.
safe, right? Like he has no breakthrough.
Yeah, I always play this game. What's his threat? I don't think he has any breakthrough with like taking on e2 on g4 and then trying to play like h3 or something. But it's also hard for me to move because he always has like knight f3 tactics, so I have to keep the bishop defended. That's annoying. And
can you play like just rook a1, rook c7, rook a7 or something?
Yeah, this would be my plan, considering if he has no threats, which...
Just assuming you have unlimited time.
Right.
To do whatever.
Yeah, I think actually it's pretty similar. Like if he takes on g4, we transpose to the game basically. So I guess I don't really see another option for him at this point, other than taking and trying to do something. But that makes sense. In any case, it's okay. He takes here first. I thought his idea was actually to play h3, which is a little tricky move, but I think I can just take it with the pawn, and then like queen h4, I'm just rook g1, and I didn't see that he can really do anything so serious here. It's definitely annoying, but I felt like I should be fine. Oh, as long as I'm not blundering knight takes e2, and knight f1 check, of course. Yeah, I have to watch out for this trick.
The double back-to-back knight forks.
Yeah. I definitely saw this during the game.
I was so fixated on like getting a rook to h8 and playing queen take h3, rook h8.
Nice.
That's a nice tactic too.
Yeah, that crossed my mind. I was just very happy to put my rook here to cover the f7 square.
Right.
So there's never any king f7. Okay, rook g2 is not a good move, but maybe something like bishop f2 should be
be safe.
Should be good. Okay, he just puts knight on g3, rook a1, and now queen f6. And so this one was very annoying because he's threatening knight takes f3 discovery, and the bishop is hanging. I was trying to make this line work, bishop f2, but of course the knight is on c3 is also hanging. And then after knight g4 and takes, to play rook g7. But it doesn't feel like it's quite getting there. Like bishop d4.
So he has like rook f7 and.
Yeah, or rook b7. Yeah, or you can put the queen on h7 and.
Right.
And so I was looking at this, but I didn't see any follow up. So I think I'm just down in exchange. Because my bishop on e2 is just not a good piece in any of these lines. But then I found, I think, the only move to kind of keep the pressure. Definitely a good little positional puzzle if you guys want to pause the video and try to figure out how white should deal with the threat of knight f3 or knight takes g4. Because of course I don't want to just play rook d1 and be passive. I want this rook on the a file. Okay, well, I moved the king.
I cheated. I glanced at the notation. I was like, what's the move? Oh, king h3.
Well, but you saw the game also. I feel like
did
you
see
could.
the game, yeah. But I didn't remember it.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
That's a nice move, though.
Yeah, it's like, I noticed the move almost immediately because you always think about, okay, can I just move my king and get out of the check? But obviously you have to make sure that you're not just like getting mated here. Because he has all kinds of ideas now, like knight takes g4, knight f2 check, and like got to make sure that there's no mate. But there isn't. What eventually convinced me is that on h2 it's like, well, he doesn't control this square, so on h3 he still has to take both of these squares under control. So as long as the h file doesn't open up, then I should be fine.
As long as it's not Bughouse.
Yeah. And then any move like knight h5, I can just ignore it in most cases, so I don't have to worry like takes, queen g5, something. So I felt like I had a grip here. I didn't even know what move he's going to make, but maybe we can just quickly run the engine. I'm just curious what the evaluation is. The people won't see it, but we can just kind of announce it.
Dead equal.
But
0.00 sometimes just means the computer's confused.
Yeah, Aronian said exactly that. If it's 0.00, it means it has no idea. Okay, so basically saying equal after every move. Well, I played rook a8, trying to trade these rooks. I'd be happy
as white. Like, you have all the active play.
Yeah, it feels like white is doing fine. Oh, actually, you know what? Okay, we'll turn the engine off. There is one moment that we should probably analyze as humans because it was interesting. So yeah, I'm just like keeping the pressure. He plays rook b7, which is the best move, but really passive. And now I really wanted to take the pawn on f4, but the problem is knight takes f3, and he has this in-between check on g1. So if I just take the knight, he takes the dark squared bishop. He's probably much better. So the critical line would be bishop takes g7. He throws in this check. He would take on e2.
That's crazy. Queen h6.
Yeah, then I think just takes. Yeah, exactly. This is the problem, is that he's always ready to just take and cover everything.
That's too bad.
And so I just don't think any of this is really working for white. The best I can do is just like take the knight, and I imagine I don't know. I think black should be getting counterplay here pretty soon. So that was unfortunate. I couldn't take the pawn, but I decided to pull back, just bishop f2, forced him to play g5, queen a2. And so here I felt like, well, only white can really break through, assuming neither side blunders.
Like, you control the only open file, so
yeah,
life is good.
But the problem in this position is that, well, I simply can't really improve. Like the pawn on b5, I can't get another attacker, and the problem is I have to constantly watch out for my knight on c3 is always hanging to these tactics. So I just play queen a3, because I was taught that when you're playing a weaker player and you have no advantage, you should just do nothing.
Well, you have all the time in the world too, as long as you keep things defended.
Yeah.
Like small improvements.
But then I was thinking, like, okay, if he just makes any move here, bishop f6, I wasn't sure. Like, I can play rook a6, rook a8.
Can you somehow maneuver your knight's tied down to the bishop? I want to get a knight to d4.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the only would be like bishop d1.
Yeah, like bishop d1.
But this always allows knight d3. So I just have to be careful about this.
I see.
Not that knight d3 is always a huge deal.
Bishop g1.
Yeah.
Can I draw arrows? I just want to demonstrate the plan.
Absolutely.
Queen a2. Okay, let's imagine he plays knight d3. We put the bishop on g1, and then we maneuver the knight from b1 to a3 to c2 to d4, and find some nice weaknesses.
Yeah, I mean,
it takes a lot of time, but at least it's something.
No, but sometimes, I mean, if he literally has no moves, then I would have time for this.
And this is a type of thing like maybe the computer doesn't find,
right?
Because computers aren't creative. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe later I'll analyze the position a bit deeper.
Yeah.
And then those annotations will be on my Patreon page. So nice. You should check that out. But yeah, that would definitely be useful. But I imagine concretely he can just like, because once my knight goes to like a3, you can start pushing the c pawn. I don't know.
Yeah, there's always going to be some technicalities.
But his problem is that the knight on g3 is very much, it's not really doing a whole lot, so it's kind of misplaced.
It's a decoration.
Yeah, exactly. But if it was on like d3, then black would be better. But well, in any case, I still feel like the best he could do here is just nothing. But he takes on e2, which I think was a gift, because
that's
just plan achieved, generous. Right? Like, so his idea was this: knight d3, bishop d4, queen h8. He was trying to take over the dark squares. I don't think it quite works, and we'll look at that. But the engine, I think on chess24, so I don't know how good it is, but it pointed out that knight d3 is actually the mistake. Had black played c3 here, he gets counterplay, which I didn't even consider during the game.
That's a hard move to find.
Yeah, so threatening knight c4. And
if you take with queen, he has some discovery.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I assume I probably could take with the queen.
Can you play rook a8 then take with knight?
Yeah, so maybe rook a8, queen c7.
He still has some discovery.
Yeah, he would.
I guess there could be some endgame, like queen takes c3, queen takes c3, knight takes c3, knight takes g4. Maybe white's still better there, because you take with king and g5 hangs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this looks very nice for white. Yeah. Like take bishop d4, just game over. Yeah. So I wonder if maybe he has something.
c3 is a type of move like before you play it, you have to calculate lines like this.
Right, you have to already figure it out. Yeah, maybe he takes a knight d3. Maybe this is just not to let the king in.
Yeah, and the knight is awkward to defend. Maybe rook c8.
Oh,
the
but bishop's
b4
hanging
hangs.
also.
Double
yeah,
attack.
I didn't see the knight was hanging. Yeah.
So knight d1 only move.
Knight d1.
Then rook c7.
So I mean, black must be
Black is
good
entering.
here.
And your king
Yeah,
is gonna
rook
get
c1,
mated
rook
someday.
h1. Yeah, exactly. So
Ouch.
I didn't think about it at all during the game. I haven't thought about it much now. Maybe I just take with the queen, just to play it safe. Because knight c4, I don't know how much I'm worried about this one, right? Like, bishop d4.
Yeah, your knight could become a beast later.
Yeah,
like,
my knight
it
is
enters.
no worse than his rook.
Yeah.
But maybe he can take on g4 or something. I don't know. Something like this.
I still like white.
Yeah, I would still take white here, right?
Yeah.
But I can see why this could potentially be like equal according to the engine.
Mm-hmm.
Because now my king is more exposed as well, so he has more ideas if I give him queen d7 at some point or something.
Right.
Yeah, in the game after knight d3, it was actually just over immediately. Which I really like about this f3 structure, because sometimes black equalizes, but then at a certain point you just get this grip, and it's just fantastic. So now if we trade these bishops, then my knight just gets in, and so I'm just completely dominating everything. And queen h8, he missed my response here. Actually, good time, little puzzle for you guys to pause and try to figure out white's best move here.
I cheated again, but I saw it coming.
It's so tempting. Yeah, rook a8, of course. And black just doesn't have any good response to it. So the problem for him is that after rook b8, I'm going to play rook a7 with a pin. So rook g8, just too passive. I didn't even consider this.
Sad.
Yeah, any move. I thought knight e5 is more likely. And then I would take. And I thought this position was just like beautiful. Just like knight coming to c3.
Complete domination.
Just all pieces are. I was really hoping
Bishop
for this.
Is forever pinned.
I mean, yeah, just a gorgeous blockade. But unfortunately for me, he decided to sacrifice his queen, which objectively he probably should do at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But my queen is just too active. I had to be a little bit careful here because whenever my queen takes on d6, for example, he wants to play like rook a7, rook a1, rook h1.
Mm-hmm. Oh, with knight f2 maybe.
With knight f2 ideas, yeah. So I have to make sure I'm not just getting mated here. So I play king h2, prophylactic move, and he pushed c3. I took on b5, hitting his knight, and now he's just not in time to really create threats because I pick up everything. And actually, he played on for a while here, but I mean, this is already game over. So yeah, tough game.
Good job.
But interesting, like strategically. And I'll be interested to see a little bit deeper what the engine thinks about some of these lines.
Yeah,
But
definitely like double edged. Like these structures scare me. Like this Zamish.
Oh,
Was
right.
it Benoni or King's Indian?
It was King's Indian move order,
Okay.
but with Samish, and then
Gotcha.
black plays c5.
I see.
And but I've played this kind of position a lot, so I feel at home here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shall we move on to your game?
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's super late, so we're just gonna.
This is a long game, but I'll try and get through it. Yesterday I said I'll get through the game quickly, and then it took like half hour. This game is 76 moves. Let's flip the board. I was black. I went outside my comfort zone. I played something I've never played before. I played g6 on move 1. Actually, no, that's a lie. I played this once before against Michael Molyar to get my IM norm. I played this line with c4, c5, d5, f5. And that was weird. But I won the game.
Very weird.
Anyway.
Wait, so you're playing also 2000 rated player?
Yeah, I'm playing some young girl, like 14 years old. I felt bad. I couldn't remember her name. I still can't remember her name. It's one of these Romanian names, which I don't know how to pronounce. But when I got to the board, I forgot what to write down as my opponent.
Oh, I did that too. I just asked him. I was like, "Can you write down?"
I was gonna ask her, but then the round was starting. Like,
I
got
see.
there right before it started. So,
That's funny.
I was trying to look at like her score sheet to figure out her name, but she was writing in cursive. Anyway, let's get to the game. We went into a Pirc defense, which is completely new for me. I knew I was going to play this before the game, but I really did very little preparation. I just wanted to get some position.
Yeah.
I was getting inspired by Nakamura.
Well, it's a good system to play.
And I saw she played this in one game. And I should have prepared like the c3 move, but I guess I was lazy. I chose to just take a walk and listen to music, rewatch our past video.
Yeah,
so.
also good preparation.
Yeah. Anyway, but I did take a look at like some G6 games. What I did before the game was I searched the position after D4 G6 and just looked at the top games.
Oh, okay.
And one of the games was a Shirov game, and I saw the C5 idea, so why not C5?
Yeah. Reasonable.
Especially with the bishop on G7, C5 combines well. Benoni ideas.
Yeah.
So anyway, game continues. Rook E1, bishop G4. Usually when black plays bishop G4, the goal is to trade off the bishop eventually. So knight D2 is a good move, knowing that I at some point want to take on F3.
Yep.
Play knight C6, H3, we trade. And then I wasn't sure what to do. There's a few options. I can take on D4, I can play E5. I played what I thought was a nice kind of pressurizing move, knight G7.
That seems right.
Yeah, just attack D4 3 times. And I was interested because she thought for a while here. I thought maybe she would play bishop E3. I was interested about potential lines with queen B6. I wasn't sure what I was going to play here. Queen B6, maybe she can take on C5. It could get weird very quickly.
Yeah.
I can also play some E5 and we get some more closed structure.
DC5, would you take on B2 there, you think? After queen B6?
Oh, queen B6. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what's happening.
Right.
And I was just thinking on her turn because I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Then I realized, okay, if she goes into this, then I'll think further, but I didn't want to take so much energy trying to figure out this position.
Yeah, honestly,
B1, I don't know.
I mean, no offense to lower-rated players, but their moves surprised me so much that I've almost stopped thinking on their turn because I'm like, you know what? At some point, they're just going to pick a move at random.
And that's essentially what happened. Okay, maybe it wasn't random, but she played the move, which actually made me really happy. D takes C5, which I think was just very comfortable for black, where she's basically giving up her center. My knight comes in, then she played bishop E3, so I took away her bishop pair. And then we got this position, which now it's like a Sicilian dragon.
Yeah.
And white has no Yugoslav like scariness.
Right.
And I have one or two students who play the dragon, so I'm actually like used to going over ideas in these dragon structures. Queen A5, typical move. Next several moves I played quickly. Rook AC8. I didn't want to trade queens. And she played A5. I don't know what she was doing. Maybe A6 and trying to get some positional play. So I played A6, which I knew gives her the B6 square, but I thought that it would be valuable for me to fix this pawn on a dark square, just because we have dark squared bishops.
Right.
And any pawns that get fixed on dark squares should favor me. So, anyway, sort of a positional moment.
Sorry, sometimes you have
Did
to
something go weird? Okay, queen D5. Then I played E6, which probably wasn't at all necessary, and I think this is maybe a turning point. I'm not sure exactly what happened, because very soon I got worse, and I had to untangle. I really wanted to cheat and put my knight on C4. I just couldn't figure out how to get there. Like, the only path is knight E5, and then she trades knights.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe another candidate move is like knight B8. I played E6 thinking I was going to play like rook FT8 and D5, but it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to, as we'll see. The problem in the dragon, when you move your E-pawn and you have a pawn in D6, it's just a big weakness.
Right.
And then it was actually hard to play D5.
Yeah.
So rook d8, queen a3, rook d7, rook d3. And I realized my d-pawn, she's about to play rook a d1, and there's going to be so much pressure.
And you never have rook d8, right? Because of bishop b6?
Yeah, I can't play rook d8 because this b6 square. So
Yeah.
I realized I'm just getting outplayed. Like, the whole a5 idea worked great for her, given that I committed to e6. So I don't know what I should have done better. I was trying to reflect. I reflected a little bit during the game. If we actually go back to when did I play queen a5? Queen
move
a5,
13?
move 13. Yeah. I was reflecting that maybe I should have gone for like some immediate knight a5, and then maybe queen c7, knight c4,
Right.
where it's just a clearer plan.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's low risk. But anyway, that didn't happen. I had to deal with problems. And here I realized, okay, trouble's happening, so I have to do something. So I played pawn d5, which then it becomes tactical. Because if queens get traded, there's all these lines which I'm not going to remember. But like if she takes... I think my plan was to take, and then I don't want to wind up with isolated pawn, so I was going to play some move like knight d7 or knight e7, and try and be tricky and regain the pawn.
Wait, why can't you just take here?
With what? In this position?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's not an extra pawn. That's
yeah, it's.
Do you have like rook cd8 or c4? What's the problem?
c4 is usually met with bishop take b2.
Hmm.
Maybe rook cd8 is bishop b6.
Oh, right, yeah.
So, yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to like figure out these lines, like d6 and my knight moves somewhere. I was trying to figure out all of this before I played d5. And then I realized, okay, I should have enough resources. I'm going to rely on intuition. I just play d5 and make her think.
Yeah.
And then she played a strong move, bishop c5, hitting my queen. Had to go back. Bishop b6, hitting the queen again. And then rook a d1. So she's just building up pressure. Like, she didn't go for those maybe more concrete lines. She's just going for pressure. And I had to do more weird stuff. Played knight e7. What else to do? Had to defend d5. And then she played bishop c5. Now she just wants to win a pawn, like bishop take e7 and take on d5. Let me put training mode. I don't want you to cheat. Did you see the next move?
Oh, I did, yeah.
No, you cheated. No.
Yeah, I would have never found this one.
For the YouTube audience, I don't know if this is a good move, but I think it's an interesting exercise. Black's in some danger, a lot of pressure. Black to move here, what would you play? What are the candidate moves?
Yeah, it reminds me of my game from yesterday when I was in difficulty.
Yeah, and you have to do something weird.
Right, to create chaos on the board.
F5? Did you played F5?
I played castles in F5.
Yeah, I played F5 too.
Nice.
There we go. When in doubt, play F5.
Wow.
And it's a weird move. I'm sure she was not expecting it.
So if takes on e7, you just want to take on e4.
Exactly. It relies on this tactical trick where if this were to happen, everything works out well for black.
Nice.
Counterattack.
Wow.
Then it's just better for black.
All your pieces on lead squares. Amazing.
I was inspired by checkers. So anyway, white still has options here. She played a move which I thought was second best. She played knight g5. I think she should have just taken on d5. New variation, because now I would have to... I think I had to take back with knight. And I thought like white should be better here somehow with this structure, like e6 and f5. And someday rook e1 and knight g5. There's this forcing continuation c4. I would have to play... Actually, maybe I have rook c7, rook dc7. But I also have knight f6. I don't know, I thought white should be better in some of these lines, but it's still complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why I went for it. Like, I still have options, and
right.
white has to navigate through some chaos. So, anyway...
But But I don't like c3 here for white, or c4.
Oh, c4.
Just
yeah.
because you have this perfect structure. I feel like rook e1 there makes more sense if it's playable.
The point of c4 is to chase a knight to f6 to make use of the e5 square and then play a move like knight e5.
Yeah.
Which I was trying to calculate, but maybe it's just like positionally good for white.
But you have like.
Oh, but I can take a
knight
knight e4. Yeah. I forget what I was thinking. Maybe this is just okay for black, actually.
Well,
I don't know.
It's hard to say, yeah.
And I haven't analyzed this with the engine because I don't want to make myself feel bad. So I have to save it for another time.
Yeah.
But anyway, she played knight g5.
Mm-hmm.
This game is like a whole story. Like a whole book can be written about this game. And we're not even like a quarter of the way through. Or a third of the way through. No, we're just about a third of the way through. So anyway, going forward here, we trade on e4. She's threatening knight d6. I play knight f5. Then I started to feel slightly happier.
Mm-hmm.
White should still be better given black has three pawn islands, a lot of potential weaknesses, but at least my pieces are decent. So game continues. A lot of these moves just came instinctively, like bishop f8. I just wanted to keep improving. Queen c8. Realize that there's some pressure on the c file, and this setup is a bit awkward for white. But I realized instead of queen c8, right after I played it, I realized maybe I could have played knight d6 with the idea of.
Whoa.
Knight c4.
Putting your piece on a dark square. Oh, but to get to another
a light square,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's important.
I wanted to take advantage of the bishop.
Right.
Bishop on b6.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks okay.
So I started thinking about this line after I played queen c8, and then I realized that white can play rook e1, and if knight c4, I think there's this move knight take e6 because of this pin.
Yeah.
So then I was happy because then queen c8 is actually useful and prepares knight d6.
Oh, right.
So anyway, I played queen c8 with the threat of knight d6, and then she played c4. So the structure changes again. I can't take on c4 because rook d8 would happen, and my queen would be trapped. So I play d4.
Mm-hmm.
Game continues. Queen c2, e5. And now I start putting my pieces on dark squares, or at least my pawns on dark squares.
Yeah.
Which, I have two center pawns and she has no center pawns.
Mm-hmm.
So why not push them? Bishop g7, h6.
Well, you can't take on c4?
I wanted to take on c4, but then I get triple forked.
g4?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I think g4. Wait a minute. I definitely saw this. Knight e4. Rook takes c4. Yeah, I think g4.
And you don't have rook c2? Or it doesn't matter because you're still getting forked on.
I think I'm still getting forked. That's the problem of like a triple fork threat. But maybe I have like knight h4, knight f3 ideas.
Yeah. Or queen c6 here also.
Wait, why did I reject this? Rook takes c4. I thought there... Oh yeah, I rejected this as a very clear-cut reason. Bishop c5.
Ah.
My rook gets stuck.
Wow.
It's actually a very strong move.
Nice.
I was actually calculating those lines.
Mm-hmm.
The game was so long, I was just forgetting all of it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Bishop
nice
c5
move.
is a good move.
Because
I never have b6.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I play h6,
Mm-hmm.
preventing knight g5. I want to put my queen on e6. So I put my queen on e6. She plays b5. Now the game transforms even more because stuff opens up on the queen side. I thought she blundered. When she played rook b3, I thought she just missed rook c7. I'm winning something on the c file.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, she was very resourceful. She found this counterplay with b take a6. I can't take the bishop right away. And initially, I wanted to take with the queen on a6. I spent a lot of time here. Eventually, I took with the pawn. Because I thought that, okay, I should be, like, winning more stuff. Because so many things are attacked.
Yeah.
But she has rook b6, queen take a5, and then rook take g6.
Rook g6.
I was trying to calculate this because if I can get away with winning material, it's worth it.
Right.
But I don't know. Her attack looked really scary after rook takes c5, knight f6 check. This is another position for Stockfish.
Yeah.
And I was looking at all the different king moves. Like one example line is king h8 and then queen e4. And I realized she's threatening. Like if I move my knight, there's rook take h6 and queen h7 mates.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought it was scary. And then if king f7, there's queen h5, which is also terrifying.
Yeah.
So I didn't go for that. Let's go back. I took with pawn.
Smart.
And then let's zoom forward because more stuff happened. Stuff got traded. More stuff got traded. And then I got some initiative. I put my queen on d5. Starting to feel like okay around here.
Nice.
And then she played a move which I saw, but then she followed up with a move that I didn't see.
Oh, it's my favorite move.
Yeah.
Rook g7.
Okay, so I saw rook take g7. And then I was looking at bishop take e5, thinking that, okay, black still has some chances. I didn't see queen take e5.
Wow.
I didn't realize. I completely forgot she could force a queen trade and win the d4 pawn.
Endgame. Oh, and she takes d4. Oh, that's a problem.
It was sad.
Yeah, how did you win this one? I don't understand.
You'll see. It was a nice endgame grind.
Wow. That's incredible.
We were both in time trouble here. We were both below 5 minutes. I had about 5 minutes, and she had about a minute.
The time control is just 90 minutes plus 30-second increment, no second time control, which is nice. It's kind of short, but that means once you're in time trouble, you're just for the rest of the game
in time trouble. Yeah. But the 30-second increment, like it's not easy to play on in these sort of
definitely favors the high rated player
games. Yeah. So I was relying on some experience. Anyway, okay, this should be a draw. Because white's down the exchange, but it has 2 pawns for it.
Yeah, and the fact that white can trade rooks.
Okay, so I avoid the rook trade. I don't want to trade rooks. I play rook c5. Now, when I play rook c5, I just assumed I'm winning the a pawn because the bishop can't defend. But then she played a move I completely overlooked, and when she played it, I didn't think it was possible. I was just having some weird hallucination.
Wait.
Yeah.
What does white play here? Because
it's just such a simple move too. It's just
f4, trying to give rook d7 check with counterplay.
But then I win a5, and then at least I win the pawn.
I see.
White to move and basically hold on to all the pawns.
How do you
especially the a pawn?
All the pawns. Because check, king e6.
I was expecting rook f4.
Right.
I think rook f4 is good enough.
Yeah.
She did something simpler, just bishop f4. She counterattacks h6.
Oh, so she's just taking... of course.
And she wants to play bishop d2.
Right.
And then when she played this move, I was sad because I'm not even winning the a pawn. And then I have to commit one of my kingside pawns, and she's gonna trade. So so I play g5.
Yeah.
Now I'm still playing for a win. I have 2 rooks, and I know from past experience, 2 rooks against rook and bishop, it's deceiving. Sometimes these positions look dead drawn, but it's surprising how many tricks can exist.
Right.
And that's essentially how I won.
Interesting.
Just tricks. So bishop d2.
Yeah, because I imagine if white can just get the bishop to b6, then
it's a fortress.
Should be a fortress, right? Yeah. But yeah, that's not easy to do.
Well, yeah, white has to make some concessions. Sometimes if white tries to hold on to everything, then there's some plan for black to break through. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Rook b5. I want to get both rooks to the second. And like the one target in this position is this bishop on d2, which is not the most stable thing. So she brought her king in, which is logical. Put my rook here, king e1. And then I played rook a2 with... I forget what I was thinking. I just want to put my rook on the most active square.
Yeah.
And then she actually made a mistake here. She played a move that's still drawn, but it made me a bit happier. She played h4, which I think loses a pawn.
Well,
it's an attempt to simplify.
Right.
But she's being a bit too forcing.
Yeah.
And I think she just missed the combination. I just take. And after rook take h4, it looks like I'm just losing the h-pawn, but I'm actually winning a pawn here.
Rook e5 check?
Rook e5, probably bishop e3.
Oh, just bishop e3.
Yeah.
So maybe... check.
Wait, rook e5, bishop e3, then I would have... Oh, if rook b5, bishop d2 back, yeah.
Oh, I guess check, rook b2, and then rook takes a5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what I was hoping for earlier, is to get some tactic where I pin the bishop and then I can take the a5 pawn. It worked out beautifully, because like I'm attacking the bishop with tempo. She has no time to take on h6. The only move to save the bishop is rook d4. And then I take on a5.
But this should still be drawn,
and it's still drawn. But at least I was happier. Like I had some momentum going my way. And amazingly, the momentum continued.
Wow.
And yeah, just like this h-pawn is not at all impressive. White should be able to build a fortress, no problem. But then, I don't know, her king got a bit awkward. Maybe starting with king d3. She should just somehow, I don't know how it's possible, but like g3 and put the king on g2.
Yeah.
And put the bishop on e3 and just wait.
Right, rook f4, rook h4.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine black can do anything there.
Right. So I think king d3 maybe is a bit inaccurate. And then I started doing things. First of all, I had to improve. I had to defend my h-pawn. She played bishop e3, king g6, then g3. So now she had the plan. She had the plan of bringing the king in.
Gotta stop it.
Oh my gosh, killed the mouse. So I have to stop it.
Yeah.
Only move to stop it is rook f6.
Nice.
And then I had some, like, positions like this, you have to be very creative. You have to think about all the potential ways you could win the position. And, like, after she played g3, I saw this potential king march. Like, someday put the king on f3. Even if it's still drawn, I want to invade the light squares.
Right.
And this did eventually happen, because her king is awkward on e4. So rook c4, rook e2. I'm going for cheapos here, because she was always hovering like around a minute.
Right.
She saw it, moved back. She moved back, and then I wanted to go for the same cheapo, but I want my rook on e1, and it actually worked out nicely. I played rook a1, and she just waited, and then I played rook e1 with the same cheapo, but now king d3 doesn't attack the rook.
Right.
And if she plays king d3, which I don't think she did, then I would try and like improve my king somehow, and someday try and get to f3.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, white hasn't solved the issues yet.
Right. So she played a passive move here, rook b2, which then opened up the possibility of king h5.
Nice.
Ideas of king g4. It should still be drawn, but game continues. King e5, rook f8, king d5. I don't know why she played king. Oh, she played king d5 to get off the e file. And then I started thinking here, because I have some options, but I also have stuff to be worried about, because she has ideas of rook b6, and this pawn is weak.
Right.
And I have candidate moves like rook d8 or rook e8 or rook d1. And then I realized in this position I could potentially checkmate her within 3 moves.
3 moves.
There's a very key mating idea, which is important for, I think, the best move for black, is to start with rook d1 check.
Mm-hmm.
Most natural move for white is king e4.
Oh, very nice.
And when I play king g4, I'm threatening mate in 1. I was so happy.
This is brutal.
But it's still probably drawn. But at least, okay, I'm threatening mate in 1 because the rooks and the king work together.
Yeah, so
she
king
can't take on
F6?
h6.
Right. Or king e5?
King e5 may be playable. So I was happy to find this line because then I have just enough time to play h5.
Right.
I want the pawn on a light square.
Yeah.
Yeah, king e5 is interesting. Like, there's so many ways the position can branch out,
Right.
where the king goes for a walk and the rooks try and mate.
Yeah.
I think from a practical standpoint, it's maybe preferable for black.
Right.
Of course, it's always preferable for black, but I would have winning chances here.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, she voluntarily brought her king out, probably thinking it was the right thing to do, but
Right.
just kept her king on g2 the whole time. It would have been a lot easier defense for her.
I don't think she should have held on to the a pawn. What she did, just
Yeah, just put the bishop on e3
yeah.
and activate the rook. Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, she played rook b5.
Mm.
And still here, I thought it was going to be a draw. But then I saw some line, which actually happened in the game, and it's a winning line. But I don't know if it's actually winning. I'll just go ahead and show rook e8. It involves trading rooks.
Yeah.
Which, it felt wrong, just because I only have the h-pawn. But I thought that, I didn't see how she responds after h5,
Mm-hmm.
because king e4 is the most natural move.
Mm-hmm.
And then after rook e1, I think she's just in zugzwang.
Oh, very
And
nice.
she just has no moves. And there's, I guess, a few key variations here. Of course, what happened in the game, she played king d3. But if she moves the king back to e5, then
Rook e3?
I just take on e3, and I'm too fast because her king is blocking the pawn.
Right.
So I'll still have to check with the engine if this is winning or not. Oh, this is 7 pieces. This would require the pay table base.
Are you just trying to take on f2 at some point?
Yes.
So
Yeah, that's the whole winning idea for black, is to someday sack on f2 and then queen the h-pawn.
but the king has to be kind of far away.
Well, you'll see. The king
Right.
was still relatively close, and I was able to do it. It's king d3,
Mm-hmm.
king f3, and then she played king d2,
Oh, wow.
and then I just went rook
Wow.
e2.
Yeah,
and
because you're shouldering
take
the whole
f2.
time.
Exactly,
Nice.
as if she takes. Her king. Yeah, her king has to somehow defend that pawn or get to f1,
But yeah, it's not
never
happening.
happens. The key move here is king g2. So I took on f2, and she was sad, and she played bishop f4. Then I just play rook g2, threatening rook take g3.
Brutal against
And
any
then-
move. Yeah.
Exactly. I guess I can't pre-move it just in case she plays g4. But but then she flagged. So
Wow.
yeah, that was my game. It should have been a draw. I was probably worse, somewhere in the middle game after f5, I would think.
You posted
Or even
nice
before.
problems there.
But yeah, I was able to complicate things enough. And then these middle game positions where she got counterplay on the b file, it was weird. There's a lot to analyze,
Yeah.
and I think this felt like a long analysis, but this was very, very brief.
It's a much longer game.
So yeah, just a long game. But anyway, we started almost an hour ago.
I think so.
Wow, it's almost midnight. 5 minutes till midnight.
Yeah.
Pairings are up for tomorrow. Did you see who you're
Oh
playing?
yeah, I'm playing. I think a candidate master, 2140.
I'm playing a candidate master too.
Oh, okay. So tomorrow's
But
video.
I'm playing an 1800 rated candidate
Oh,
master.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
But he's
big
12
difference.
years old, so
Mm.
he's scary.
Mm.
Okay, I think we're gonna end it there.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's round is at 9 a.m., so we need sleep.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Bye.
tuning in.